This is my Metals and Research presentation of Betty Helen Longhi by Jillian Busby. To start out, Betty Helen Longhi went to the University of Wisconsin and the Cranbrook Academy of Arts. She then graduated and became a revolutionary voice in the field of forging in the metals world. And this is the etched bead collar that is made of silver bimetal. Here is her etched bead necklace of gold and sterling silver bimetal. This is the Kumbo bead collar, and later on in the presentation, I will explain more about what bimetal is, but you can see that it is very flush and very uninterrupted in the way it is put together. These are her river earrings. A lot of her work is inspired by the ocean and movement and waves and fluidity, whether that be metaphorical or literal. In this sense, currently, it is metaphorical because the movement of the piece is from the way it is forged, the curves and the etching in the piece. This is her wave collar, and you can see if you look closely, there is etching that kind of draws the eye that would be around the neck if it was worn. This is her bimetal pearl wave pin and pendant, and you can really see the movement in this with the rod metal going around the kind of pearl pendant that would draw the eye in a certain kind of way. This is some of her earlier works. This is a gold and sterling silver metal brooch, and this is where you can start to really see her use her forging and metal forming skills. This is another brooch, the floating tree. And this is one of her earliest works, Germination. This is where she's starting to really get into her niche. This is part of her Wave series. This is where she became critically acclaimed for her forging methods. It is made out of nickel, silver, and niobium. And it is said that at the time, these pieces had a blue-green kind of pink hue with the niobium plating on it. And the high polish kind of reflected that and draw the eye in very fantastical ways. This is Fluidity, also part of the same series. It is said that they all had a breaking point, and what that means is once you moved them, they would continue moving for 5 to 10 minutes and then stop, and they each had that specific time that they would move to. So dye metal. I was doing research on this, and I couldn't find exactly what dye metal was. It looks to me like a different form of marriage of metal. This is anticlastic forming. It is formed around a singular axis, while the other axis kind of is pushed outwards. It only uses metal on wood or plastic on wood, not metal on metal or plastic on plastic. It doesn't form the same exact way. This is synclastic forming. She used more of anticlastic, but I just wanted to show this as the kind of opposite of that. This is, think of when you're forming a cabochon. You're dapping it out and you're hammering it in the dapping punches. You kind of form it around a singular point. These are some of the tools that she's created with her co-jeweler, Cynthia Reed. The cross pins on these hammers are very interesting to me because they're very, very thin, very delicate in a sense that where you can get a very small line or very intricate movement when you use these on your metal. I wanted to show Linda Darty as one of the 3 artists because I couldn't find any color pictures of Betty's work when they were plated and when she was alive, but I feel like Linda Darty got the closest to the kind of color palette and also the same metals that Betty Helen Longhi has used. This is Gary Nofke. He also revolutionized the metal field, but instead of forming, it was forging. He revolutionized cold forging with his discovery and creation of 975 silver, a new alloy that made it really a lot more cost effective to forge silver instead of using 99.9% silver and instead of using sterling silver. This is Heike Seppa. She studied under him at the University of Wisconsin and the Cranbrook Academy of Art. So a lot of her work is very inspired by his as well. And he, along with her, revolutionized the field of metals forging. And that is all.